2022 is set to be the biggest year in Star Wars history for content since pretty much 2015 when The Force Awakens released, or even all the way back to 2005 when Revenge of the Sith released. We have new content coming in almost every single media category, including live-action TV shows, animated TV shows, games, books, and comics. Within that is 48 episodes of Disney Plus TV content, meaning we'll have only about 4 weeks this year without a Star Wars TV show airing, unless things get pushed back into 2023. So let's break down everything confirmed to be coming out in 2022, including some of the big rumors. So remember to subscribe and let's get into it. So the first show off the chopping block is of course the Book of Boba Fett, which is currently ongoing and will have 6 episodes in 2022. This series is actually 7 episodes total, but they did their best to sneak that first episode into last year. I won't go too far into detail on this show since it's currently airing right now, but it will basically tell us the tale of how Boba Fett rose as the eminent crime lord from the ashes of Jabba's demise at the hands of Leia. At the moment we're getting about 80% flashback scenes and 20% in the present timeline, but I expect that to quickly switch up as we move into episode 3 and beyond, where things will start to get crazy. You can probably expect to see appearances from the likes of Cad Bane for sure, probably Bossk, Dengar, Forlom and Zuckuss, with a wild card of Qi'ra and Crimson Dawn. Cad Bane is pretty much a must since he's the literal embodiment of a Western cowboy bounty hunter, which is what this show has been so far, as well as his deep history with Boba Fett. As for Qi'ra and Crimson Dawn, personally I think we've already seen hints towards that, with the Pyke Syndicate showing up in their ominous red masks rather than their usual, and also something mysterious going on with the assassins. But we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Next up in the schedule is the Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which is coming right after the Book of Boba Fett. Star Wars Obi-Wan is a 6-episode series which was originally adapted from a movie format and will be directed by Deborah Chow. This gives me a lot of confidence going into the show as her episodes of The Mandalorian, including Season 1, Episode 3, are some of my absolute favourites. We haven't been given too much information at all about the show because of how historic and major it will be, but we do know for certain that Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor are returning to play their iconic roles of Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. We don't know how much of Hayden's role will be as Anakin Skywalker before the suit in flashbacks, but hey, I'm just happy he's back. We do know for certain though that Obi-Wan and Anakin will be having a rematch of their fight on Mustafar from Revenge of the Sith. It's not really clear if that fight will be in real space or a physical encounter or something completely through visions or the Force. Now for when this show could air, well it could actually be as early as late February to the start of March. Because we know that there are 48 episodes of Disney Plus content scheduled for this year, they really can't take too many breaks, and they certainly can't take Marvel's schedule into account either. There's just not enough weeks in the year. So because of this, I think we'll get a making of the Book of Boba Fett special the week after Boba Fett ends, which will be the 16th of February, and then the week after that, which will be the 23rd of February, could be the air date for the Obi-Wan show. Now if that doesn't happen, I could see a small few-week break, which would put the finale on May the 4th. Definitely a perfect date for it. Now after Kenobi, we don't know exactly which show is next in line, except that it's not Andor. So that leaves us with either The Mandalorian Season 3 or The Bad Batch. My money is definitely on The Bad Batch, as The Mandalorian is always a late year show. The Bad Batch will likely be 16 episodes again, just as the first season was, and will probably take us through the journey of Omega and Hunter finding a new purpose after the Clone Wars are over. Admiral Rampart will probably be back as the main antagonist of the show, and will certainly get more connections to the other Star Wars TV shows, and of course the Clone Wars. Following that will be the Cassian Andor show. Lucasfilm have confirmed that the show will be releasing in the 4th fiscal quarter of 2022, which puts it somewhere in the October region of the year. This is one of the shows I'm really hyped for because I loved Rogue One, and this will give us some meaning to Cassian's line about doing terrible things for the rebellion. I think we'll also get some nice appearances from Ahsoka Tano as Fulcrum, and probably even Imperial Agent Kallus, as this is set in the same year as Star Wars Rebels Season 1. I also think Hera Syndulla fits perfectly into the show, and if, like many people suspect, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are tying every show together into the Mandoverse, then we should certainly see Sabine, which will give us a nice little intro to the Ahsoka show coming in 2023, and will also tie into the Mando Season 3, where I expect she will probably show up for the Battle of Mandalore. I think there's going to be a major Game of Thrones style power struggle for Mandalore, and it just makes sense for Clan Ren to be involved. Either way, I'm really excited for this show, and I can't wait to see how they display the darker side of the rebellion. Now to the last show of the year, if they don't push it into 2023, will be The Mandalorian Season 3. If you're watching this channel, I'm sure I don't have to ask you how hyped you guys are to see this story play out. Din Djarin is the current holder of the Darksaber, and it looks like there will be a huge ploy to take back Mandalore, or whatever's left of it, from the clutches of the Imperial Remnant. I think we're barreling straight towards a Game of Thrones style saga among the Mandalorians, and there will certainly be challenges to Din Djarin's throne. I also think Rook Kast from the Clone Wars Season 7 and Son of Dathomir is the armorer, so check out my full theory video on that in the pinned comment down below. Now moving on to the books of 2022, we have quite a few awesome stories coming up covering a wide span of eras. The major novel releases we have start with The High Republic, Midnight Horizon and Mission to Disaster. We've then got Queen's Hope by E.K. Johnston covering more of Padme's story, Stories of Jedi and Sith, which is a collection of short stories, then a young adult novel named Padawan focusing on a young Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. This one in particular should be really cool as we get to go back and explore much more of the relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan in their much younger days. We do already know quite a bit from this time, but it's never a bad thing to add to it. On top of that, we've got an awesome story about Obi-Wan and Anakin from their time on Cato Nemoidia called Brotherhood. This one should really dive into their relationship as master and apprentice more than the comics currently have, and probably even tie into the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. We might finally find out what that business on Cato Nemoidia was in canon, although we do already have an explanation for it in Legends. And for the final major book, we have Shadow of the Sith, which will follow Luke and Lando on their quest to hunt down the assassin Ochi of Bestoon. Not to mention, we also have the massive Phase 2 of the High Republic media project dropping, which will go back 150 years before the current phase of books. I'll cover much more of that on the channel for those of you who are interested. Now moving on to the comics, we've got some very interesting series still ongoing. We of course have the main Star Wars 2020 run, the Darth Vader 2020 run, as well as Star Wars Dr. APHRA where Black Chrysanthemum is playing a large role. Not to mention, we still have the bounty-focused storyline still ongoing with the Star Wars Bounty Hunters comics following Bail at Valence, Crimson Reign following the story of Qi'ra in her quest to destroy Darth Vader and Darth Sidious, and finally a mysterious comic line by Charles Soule called Hidden Empire, which is a direct follow-up to Crimson Reign. Although Crimson Reign has been billed as a tragedy for Crimson Dawn, the name Hidden Empire could imply that Qi'ra keeps the dream of the Dawn alive, but is forced to hide underground. This would also set up a big appearance for her in the Book of Boba Fett, so make sure you watch out for that. After that, we have a brand new series called the HALCYON Legacy, which will be set on the Galaxy's Edge Star Cruiser, set in the time of the High Republic. Not much is really known about this one yet, but Burryaga Agaberry is on the cover, so you can expect him to be a huge part of it. Now we move on to games. We don't really have much confirmed just yet, but we do know that the LEGO Skywalker Saga should be coming out in spring of this year. And that is of course if it ever comes out at all. Let's just say it hasn't had the best time with release dates. Other than that, there are heavy rumours that Jedi Fallen Order 2 will be releasing in the later end of this year. I really hope this is the case as the Star Wars gaming scene has been pretty quiet for a while now. Cal Kestis really does deserve to have his story significantly expanded, and he's played by the amazing Cameron Monaghan, so what more can we ask for? We've also got the release of Star Wars Hunters, which is a mobile game and Nintendo game which does look pretty cool, but nothing to really pull in the masses. It did already have a soft launch in 2021, but the main game is coming out 2022. And I will just say that the characters from Star Wars Hunters do actually show up in the comics like War of the Bounty Hunters and Crimson Reign, so if you're interested in that, you could play the game to get a bit more backstory, not that it's really necessary, but if that interests you, definitely check it out. You've got characters like Amara Vex and Deathstick who are very interesting in the comics, but I don't know how much story you're actually going to get in the game. And before we end off, I just want to say that there are rumours of a 2022 movie being kept under wraps until the last minute, which personally I don't believe at all, but I'll just throw it in there just in case. Who knows, maybe Lucasfilm will throw in a surprise. Especially with the current Rogue Squadron delays, maybe they've pushed forward something from the backlog. So that is pretty much every single piece of major Star Wars media that is releasing in 2022. Make sure you let me know in the comments which of these new pieces of content for Star Wars excites you the most. Are you looking forward to the games, or are you more into the comics? This will certainly be one of the best years for us Star Wars fans in quite a while, so I can't wait to see where it all goes. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.